Story number 7. Stepmom saved me from a creepy lady in McDonald's. I was 11 years old when this happened, and I'm currently 24 and I'm a female. And I had been visiting my dad and stepmom over the summer in Saskatchewan, Canada. My dad worked long days during the week, so on her day off, he planned for my stepmom to take my sister, 8 at the time, and I out for a date to get some bonding time with us, as we didn't know her super well yet. She took us to get our nails done, to the mall, and on the way home we stopped at a McDonald's. We planned on eating inside in the restaurant, but it was very busy, so my stepmom asked my sister and I to find a table and wait there while she went to the counter to order our food. I noticed this rough, older-looking woman, possibly 60s or 70s, looking towards the direction of the table my sister and I were seated at. All I could remember is thinking she looked like a drugged-out Susan Boyle. She looked possibly homeless and addicted, so I didn't give her much of a thought, letting her do her own thing, and I just tried to talk to my sister about random stuff. Once my stepmom came back to the table, this woman was seemingly already approaching us and then stopped beside us. She just said hello, so we all kinda said hi back and tried to ignore her. She asked if we were my stepmom's daughters, so she says, "They are my stepdaughters," trying to be simple to kinda shut her down. The lady says we were beautiful girls and begins to walk towards the door. She stops one last time and asked, "How old are they?" We had the impression that she was on her way out, so my stepmom just says to her, 11 and 8. Her eyes lit up, and she looked at me with a strange look. "Oh, I've always wanted an 11-year-old. I'd bite her from you." That definitely crossed a line, so my stepmom finally tells her that we are trying to eat lunch, and asks her what she is even saying in a somewhat aggressive tone. The lady got one last look at me, and then she finally left. She definitely didn't have the money to buy me, even if I was for sale. Anyways, lol, so I wasn't worried. I think she was possibly on some drugs and not in the right mind. But knowing my shy ass at 11, I wouldn't have known how to get rid of this lady if she tried to talk to us without my stepmom there. We weren't super close then, but I respected her a lot after that day for being ready to protect us, even in a minor situation like that.
The first sentence of the last paragraph had me laughing hard. Good story, man. People are such creeps. Kids are scared. Messing with them is pure evil. What the hell did she expect? That your stepmom was just gonna sell you in the middle of a busy McDonald's for cash money.
Thank you. Now I wonder if it would be any different if I was with my dad that day instead of her. Maybe she wouldn't have approached at all, as my stepmom is pretty short and probably looked like another kid at first. Lol.
The first sentence of the last paragraph had me laughing hard. Good story, man. People are such creeps. Kids are scared. Messing with them is pure evil. What the hell did she expect? That your stepmom was just gonna sell you in the middle of a busy McDonald's for cash money?
Thank you. Now I wonder if it would be any different if I was with my dad that day instead of her. Maybe she wouldn't have approached at all, as my stepmom is pretty short and probably looked like another kid at first. Lol.
Not trying to scare you, but I think the lady was trying to sex traffic you. I've heard stories about pimps or sex traffickers sending out older women as bait to abduct young women. I'm glad your stepmom defending you and you're safe.
She definitely could have been. I remember being scared when we were leaving that she would be outside ready to grab me. Thank God I don't recall seeing her or any other sketchy people after that one weird encounter.
Creepy. I had one encounter in 9 Amos McDonald's. I had taken my daughter there to eat because we barely go there. We don't live in a city. And while waiting in a line to order, an older woman came up to me and whispered to me that some guy, I didn't see him, was watching my then 4 and 5-year-old daughter. 5'4", which is 1.62. Another time in the same city, I didn't know many people there, so when outside having a smoke, I heard somebody I didn't recognize call my name. Scared the crap out of me. Usually by myself, so my drivers can have their alone time to go. I go with some couples.
That's so strange. Did you see the person call your name or just hear it? And I'm glad someone noticed the guy staring at your daughter in case it could have become a situation like mine, or worse.
No, I had my back to the road where the yelling was coming from. And yes, I was grateful to the lady for telling me. I usually am careful when I'm out, but that scared me, being a lone short girl with a child.
Story number 8. Someone is watching me. Updates will be posted at the end. Before the story begins, I would like to clarify that I'm writing these lines during the last days of January in the year 2024. So, I have never posted in the sub, though I have other stories I buried deep until recently, but this is happening in the present. I have had people stalk and follow me before, and because of that, and my true crime addiction, I become supremely paranoid and a solid curtain twitcher. I'm 31 years old and I'm a woman. I reside in an upstairs room that was my first room to myself as a child. I have to leave a bad situation and therefore ended up back in my childhood home. For reference, when my house was built, we were told that the field to our left, with horses and a barn at the time, would one day soon be a development. It was 2000 when we were told that, and it wasn't until 2022 that roads started being formed and foundations laid. I'd already had someone follow me before when I was young. I posted about it, don't know how to link. But I was in a different bedroom next door. My parents put in a free library that's right below my window, and nighttime security lights that are very bright and turn off if you're within like 20 feet of the side of the house. My room is on. I'll admit it. Having an open field next to me so long made me accustomed to not closing the curtains when I change, because there was never anyone to watch. Now there is. For the past 2 weeks, the burglar lights next to the free library have been going off late at night, because my one side of the curtain is open, so I can use my vape. That's the only reason I noticed at all. I didn't think too much at first. We lock all the doors and windows every night, and I'm on the second floor. I also always looked out to see if it was a car, someone walking their dog, or a deer, only to see nothing. To add, they put in a shit ton of streetlights around this area, so visibility is great. But it just kept happening. So last night, I did my usual, and I saw the lights come out of my peripherals. I acted natural, giving full view of the window. I was going to bed. It was about 3 a.m. Turning the TV off, closing the window and curtains, turning the light out. Then I ducked down, peering through the curtains to the sidewalk below. I honestly thought I was going to pass out when after a few minutes, maybe 5, someone comes out from the side of my house. All silhouette, dressed in black. They kept their back to me until the light turned off, but I swear I could still see them standing there, looking like they could see me. I called the police, but while I was on the phone with the operator, I saw him run off. There wasn't much they could do, except say that they would have a car drive around and look. My parents are asleep, and I know I have to tell them tomorrow. This scares the crap out of me. If it hadn't been happening for weeks and was a solo incident, I would probably be fine about it. But the fact that the light has been going off without me seeing activity and what happened tonight makes me think that this person has been watching me and watching my house. To the person outside my window, let's please never fucking meet. And by the way, here's a small update. I did tell my parents, and at first they brushed me off, claiming I had had a couple drinks and it was late, so I probably just saw someone checking out the library. I then had another conversation about it with just my dad, who said that there had been reports the last couple weeks of car break-ins, and since my car is parked on my side of the street, right outside my window, maybe they were trying to break into it. I pointed out that if he was trying to break into my car, why was he pressed up against the house where he was invisible from my window? And why did he at no point go towards my car? I think I freaked him out enough that we are going to potentially get a camera for that area. Given all the development happening around us, I think it's smart, even without this incident. Thank you all for your advice and replies. I promise I'll update here again if anything happens.
Time for a couple of exterior surveillance cams, my friend. Also, you mentioned you just left an abusive relationship. Any chance this sticker is a jealous ex? Good luck to you.
We already have one, but just at the front. I don't think it's a jealous ex, but I left home for a very good reason. There are a decent number of people here who at least at one point wanted to do me harm. But it's been 6 years, and not many people know I'm back in town. I would label it to under 10. And since I was born and raised here, I know a lot of people. Honestly, this is why I didn't want to move back. But rock, meet hard place.
You can get some cheap dummy cameras and put them up openly. This will make them aware that you are aware of them. While they won't actually take footage, they are inexpensive and the person won't know that. It might not deter them, but the chances are good that it will. If you could afford it, I'd recommend real ones. But I know the pain of poverty sometimes is better than nothing if you can swing it.
I sadly can't at the moment, but this is a good suggestion when I can, and if my family will let me put them up.
Please close the curtains as soon as it starts getting dark.
I'm definitely doing that now. Like I mentioned in the post, outside my window was a field for many years, so I just got used to having it open, as the only people who could see would be the occasional neighbor passing through the blackberry path. Thanks. Sadly, I don't have the money for them at the moment, and my family is telling me I'm overreacting and possibly imagining things, so I doubt they'll buy the cameras either. Hoping to move out somewhat soon, and the place I chose is in a secure building. I just have to find another job or a better one. Update. Someone is watching me. So I posted the first part of this a few days ago. And now I have an unfortunate update. There hasn't been any activity since the night after I originally posted. I was on a phone call the very next night with a friend when I noticed someone standing outside, completely shrouded in darkness. I proceeded to talk loudly about how some creep was watching me, and I better watch out. Stupid, yes, but it seemed to work because all was quiet after that, or so I thought. Tonight was one of my oldest friends' last night in town, so I was out until 9:30 p.m. I drove to friend's home and then myself. Since it was so early, I wasn't that worried, but still alert. I drove up the side of the street he hit on last time, even though it was out of my way, and saw nothing out of the ordinary. I noticed one of the new houses that's being built had its lights on, which I didn't think much of in the moment. Fast forward an hour, and I start hearing a weird loud banging sound across the way. I know it's risky, but I'm not letting some asshole dictate my comfort. And I've also been watching for activity and pretending so I can maybe catch them. So I've kept my window open as usual. Hence why it was so dumb to razz him the other night by talking about someone watching me. But I digress. It stopped, so I wrote it off. Big mistake. Shortly after, I started hearing banging again, but this time I could actually feel it. It was coming from my house. I genuinely freaked out, like Knives Out status, but much more cowardly, cowering on my bedroom floor with my ears pressed to the door and knife in hand. It was a strange, hollow sound that didn't seem like the front door. It wasn't. I once again called 911, describing what's happening and thinking they probably are going to write it off because I sounded crazy. I still feel in shock because this only just happened. Thankfully, the kind dude on the line definitely took me seriously and said someone would be on their way. For the record, the police department is like a 3-minute drive from my house. I ended up tiptoeing downstairs to see, and once again, felt my heart stop. I went to the front door, ducked down, and there wasn't anyone at the front door. Then the banging starts again, and I can tell how close it is. I go to the side window that overlooks the garage, and that's when I saw him. Dressed in black, hood pulled far over his face, banging wildly on the garage door with a fucking crowbar. I honestly don't know why he wasn't using the crowbar to break in, but I'm super glad he didn't, as the door inside the garage that leads into the house is always left unlocked. To say I panicked is a vast understatement. I nearly pissed myself, which I think it's understandable. I'm just standing there, peeking out of the window, watching this guy wail on my garage door with a crowbar, thinking how fucking unhinged he must be and how much I want the cops to get there now, when just like before, he runs off. I quite literally just got done giving a report to the cops that showed up. My family was woken up and had to talk to them as well, as they are the homeowners. And now they are both so freaked out that my dad just ordered for exterior cameras to monitor the house. I don't think it's over yet. This man has some reason he's targeting my house. Possibly me, since he started out by watching outside my window. So to this man, you better hope we never meet. I have a crowbar too.